The week that's coming up, April the 7th to the 13th, two planets go direct. Mercury is moving forward, and so is Venus on both the 7th and the 12th, which is a Monday and I believe a Saturday. And this is going to feel good. If you've been feeling kind of like, I don't know, you're waiting for something to happen, the shoe to drop, or for something to be clear so you can know which direction to go in about love or money or friendship or work or home or job, and everything's in the uncertain zone, then this week ahead brings us into clarity and forward movement where we know where to go. I'm going to break it down because it's happening in the Pisces sky, one chunk of celestial real estate in your sky. So it does belong to one area of concern in your life. So we talk a lot about how that might look like some freeing up of the stuckness that you've been experiencing. And we're also going to talk about the election in Canada. We have an election here, and Mark Carney versus Pierre Poilievre. And I'm going to talk for Canadians very briefly about why I think Pierre Poilievre will win this election. And I'll tell you why. And one thing I said long ago, when the Liberal Party, which is Mark Carney's party, declared on March the 28th that they were, was it March the 28th, whatever day they declared that they were going to call the election for April the 28th, we had both Mercury and Venus retrograde. And I knew that would mean that the direction of momentum they had, which was they were leading in the polls, would reverse. And we're beginning to see that happen now in Canada, and I'll explain why. This is called World or Mundane Astrology, and it's about an election happening in Canada in the month of April on the 28th. This will be the intro part of this video. If you don't like world astrology, you don't have to watch it. You can jump ahead and go to your sign. They'll be in the timestamps and pinned to the timestamps, top of the timestamps, comments, I mean, and they'll also be in the, what do you call it? The description box. Now, I'm in Vancouver. I'm in Whistler on my vacation. This is my birthday. I'm recording April the 4th, and I don't have a lot of light. So I realize I look really smudgy, but I'm doing my best. I didn't travel with any kind of lighting kit. And this is like, unfortunately, my handheld mic because I got nothing to prop it on. So we're doing as best we can. Someone's going to say, why are you doing a recording on your birthday? Because I got to get this out Sunday for the week ahead. But I do like making videos for you guys. And it's a nice way to spend a little bit of my time on my solo vacation on my birthday. Before we start talking about your forward momentum, if you're new here, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Believe it or not, it helps the channel grow. And if you want to subscribe as well, hit the notification bell. And then you'll know when I put new content out and you won't miss a thing. And I put about 3 videos out every single week, plus the All Signs 12 videos as well. Now, at the end of every month. And now what I want to say before we get going is I have a lovely client, or well, student of mine, who sent me this book all the way from Europe. Isn't that sweet? Saturday Superpowers. And I confess that I had autistic spectrum disorder. I'm also attention deficit disorder. I knew that ages ago. And I just had a late diagnosis. I'm 63 today. And I did have another person who's a watcher email me, say, I think you're actually HSP, highly sensitive person. I'm not. I can't read the room. I hurt people's feelings. I never rethink a conversation if I said something wrong and could have hurt someone's feelings. And I went through this kind of HSP checklist, not HSP, not at all. I am the most easily to offend people because I have no sensitivity to the emotions and moods of people around me. I have to learn to read them, but I don't have it naturally. So thanks for the suggestion, whoever that was in my email box. I appreciate it. And this is this book, and I want to say, why is it called Saturday Superpowers? Well, the author, Demet Denak, literally has one of these disorders. She's neurodivergent. And in the book, these 4 kids have superpowers. And I thought this was so delightful for children dealing with dyslexia or ADD. And in it is also autism spectrum disorder. And they're on a big heroic mission. It's beautifully illustrated. So if you have kids and they're dealing with ADD, overfocus, dyslexic, it talks about the good side of it all. Autistic, which is the power to move through the mystery and other realms invisibly, according to the characters in the story, and ADHD. Okay, so I don't have HD because I'm not hyperactive. Not really. When I touch my hair, I'm stimming. It's called stimming to calm myself. I used to chew my hair as a kid. I used to bite my tongue and move it around because that was stimming when no one could see it. I used to wiggle my toes in weird ways, or my knuckles under my hand, ways to stimulate myself through overwhelm in social situations. And finally, for the rest of you neurodivergent slash late diagnosed, high masking, high functioning, highly intelligent people, especially women, I'm here on a getaway in Whistler, Canada, there's a group of women in a big house with a hot tub, partying hard. And I went with them to a spa this morning, got a massage, hit the hot tub and the steam room. That was great. I'm topped up. they're begging me to come out tonight and do this big party dinner out somewhere because it's my birthday. And I'm like, no. And learning to say no when I'm at my social small talk stimulus maximum, I hate small talk, is where I have to stop. And thank God I was in the hot tub with a woman who's very geeky like me. And we had a big geeky conversation about stuff that, whether it was politics or health and stuff, two nerds geeking out, I can go there. All right. So just had to share, because a lot of people also told me not to say this if I didn't know for sure I was. I check off like at 80% on every inventory of, self-questioning myself. Okay. So let's get going. First thing I want to say is Venus, moving in direct motion after being retrograde since March the 1st, is doing that in such a way that we haven't seen since 2017, and before that 2009, and before that 2001. So remember her long stay in the sign from retrogradation through Pisces into a star point or conjunction to the sun in Aries, which happened at 2 degrees of Aries, by the way, the star point. That cycle is an every 8-year cycle. So as she goes forward, she's not just going forward on the 12th, this Saturday coming. She's not just moving forward. She's also moving forward at last after this rare every 8-year cycle. So it can bring you back in your life to things that were occurring kind of like January through till, end of May in 2018 and 2009 and 2001. Ultimately, these direct motion Venuses from her retrograde star point, she was retrograde for 40 days, are going to indicate a change in your life that unfolds over a 4-year cycle, 4 years ahead, but also that you may see evidence of until she star points in Capricorn in January. So you're going to say, well, between her direct motion to this week on Saturday and January, look for major life changes in the area of the chart she's sitting in, your home, your relationship, your children. I'll describe that in the all signs. Number 2, Mercury retrograding happens all the time. No big deal. He has been retrograde. He goes direct on the 7th, and I can't exactly remember the date he went retrograde, but back in, I should know that, but it doesn't really matter, does it? 3 weeks ago. It'll be 3 weeks of retrograde. And so he's going forward. So things that were stalled out, held back, not moving forward in the Pisces part of your chart, because he's in Pisces too, as he goes direct. So we're going to talk about how you're going to go forward at last in the Pisces part of your sky. And now you can see this kind of echo chamber of 2017, 2009, 2001, right? We may vibe out for you, or at least when you have hindsight by the end of this year, you go, oh my God, it's just like those years. Finally, I'm going to do the political stuff. Let's do that now. I hope I'm holding this mic at a decent distance. If I don't use the mic, the laptop sound is terrible. So let's go ahead and do this best I can. Oh gosh, this is such a pretty place, guys, but I wanted to sit in the corner with all the foliage and the pine trees behind me, but the light made me completely backlit, right? All right, so Pierre Poilievre does not have a birth time. Mark Carney does. Mark Carney is our liberal leader. He's kind of like a Democrat. For those of you who don't understand that, more so, right? He's like going to be on the right. On the left, and then Pierre Poilievre would be more like a Republican, but he's not like a MAGA Republican. That's bullshit. Maybe he's just a fiscal conservative, lower immigration, less taxes conservative. And Carney is old guard, high on the environment, probably on the woke culture, but he doesn't talk about it, but high on the environment. Canada can't have pipelines. We can't use our own gas. We can't develop our own resources. We have net zero policy. We had been taxing for like the last 6 years, the public at the gas pumps and at their heating bills for a punitive tax called a carbon tax, because it's going to somehow save the world, that we're paying taxes to use carbon. Makes no sense, right? Because they're not reinvesting it in research. They're not giving us solar panels or electrical cars to replace it. And then, of course, it impacts the cost of everything, because trucks and truckers and all the other people who use gas and oil to get food to the marketplace are also taxed. Because they have to pay for the gas. So we have very high prices in Canada, and our gross domestic product is one of the lowest in the Western world. And our standard of living is decreasing dramatically over the last several years of the carbon tax, but it's not the carbon tax, just so you know. It's the inability for us to develop our natural resources and become resilient, self-reliant, and prosperous. We have a ton of natural resources under the earth, and our government, liberal government since 2015, is very radically environmental, not just mildly, radically environmental. Okay, so there you go. So I'm not going to do politics. I'm going to do you can tell where I'm leaning because I'm an incorporation, and my liberal government tax was trying to more tax the corporations in this country, and I just incorporated. It's all bad enough that we don't really have an economy that is vibrant. Okay, let's get away from all my opinion. I'm going to show you the chart of Carney and tell you what I'm seeing. And I'm going to show you Pierre Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre, I rectified his chart. I rectified Elon Musk as a Cancer rising 5 years ago. I'm really good at rectifying clients' birth charts when I need to. I went through Pierre Poilievre's entire history of his life. His mother, his father, his parents. His mother gave him up for adoption as a teenager. And then he had two parents. His dad was gay, but came out of the closet. I am 90% sure I've rectified the chart of Pierre Poilievre correctly. So let's do that first. But even without the rectification, he has the stronger chart for winning this election. I'm going to give you some reasons why. Number one, first of all, you can see he's a Cancer rising. These are asteroids on his ascendant. This is Taureau. Okay. And that's the bull. Oops. I think you guys might have lost the picture when I did that. Let me fix that. I'm just going to make this chart smaller so I can tell you about the asteroids. And for okay Canadians, he's got two asteroids, Orcus and Taureau. This is Orcus, the punisher of broken oaths. One of his main ways of being on platforms talking about why he's the guy for the job is he talks about all the broken promises, the lost liberal decade, but he uses the word broken promises a lot. The phrase about they promised this and this never happened. So broken promises, the punisher of broken oaths, Orcus, the Etruscan god of the underworld on his ascendant. And this is Taureau. This is a bull. The asteroid Taureau is like a bull. Okay. It's the maiden name of the wife of the discoverer, Taureau, and it's about flexing one's muscles psychologically or physically. He works out, challenging others, competitiveness, bullying, and intimidation, toughness, doing the hard work, seeing red, being pushed until one loses control, or charging blindly. I have not seen him charge blindly or lose control, but he's known to be like a bully energy. Yes, like Trump, I suppose, but he's pretty smart, and he'll call reporters out. He on the House of Commons floor when there's debates, he is very bully-like in the way he engages. So that is why I'm also pretty convinced that this is actually really close to his ascendant degree. His dad came out of the closet as gay. That's the dad in a hidden house with something that is not known about him, and that's a classic. What is hidden about the dad that needs to be recovered or revealed? And dad came out of the closet later on in his life. He was given up for adoption, just so you know. His first mother was a young teenager, and then he had two school teacher parents, and there's his mom, a school teacher in the house of schools, elementary, secondary school, and there's his dad in the closet, so to speak. So all said and done, I'm using the mom that raised him right here because he was I think an infant when he was adopted, but he actually got to meet his birth mother later in life. So there's a lot about this chart I'm not going to belabor. It looks like him. So as a Cancer rising, he's a lot like Elon Musk as well, another Cancer rising that's quite controversial right now. Now, oops, I got to make it bigger again. Whoa, let's get it back to the beginning. Okay, let's clear the annotations. I want to share one more thing with you, and I'll tell you why he's going to win. Now, is he going to get a vast majority government? Maybe not, because everyone hated Trudeau so much. I was at a party with young people, and they were all going to ditch Trudeau for Pierre Poilievre until Carney came in. But now Carney's losing his luster because he keeps making mistakes in his campaign, including lying. But the reason he's also been reversed when the Venus and Mercury are getting ready to turn around, what's going to cause the big downdraft, maybe a scandal about Carney. It could be a scandal. And that could really tank him, but he's already tanking because Trump decided not to really tax Canada. We got a stay of punishment here. And that's pulled the plug on his main campaign platform message that he's a former economist at the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, even though he did a terrible job at the Bank of England, according to people over there. And he's the one to deal with the tariffs. But now we don't get tariffs, and he's lost his main message. I mean, we get 10%, and then we got it's not a big deal here anymore. So let's get back to the deal here. It's not broad sweeping tariffs on Canada. Let's get back to the sky. Abundantia, the goddess of abundance, the cornucopia and the horn of plenty on Ceres, like the agriculture and bounty of the land and the harvest on his midheaven, and his main campaign platform, and I do believe he's got a Aries midheaven, and at 2 degrees is where Venus star pointed, and that's going to give him the win. There was a Venus star point pretty close to Donald Trump's sun, and he won the election in the United States. The star point happened in June. He won in November. The star point happened here. Okay, date of the Venus star point. I can't even remember. Sorry, I got too much data in my head, but it happened in the last month. I'm teaching a class on Venus retrograde. I should remember the star point. But the star Venus co-joined the sun at this degree of his midheaven. Why is cornucopia, good old Abundantia here? Because he keeps saying we're going to make Canada prosperous again, wealthy again. We're going to come back to a prosperous country in which our standard of living, our gross domestic product, which equals our standard of living, is one of the lowest. We're the lowest in the G7, but we're the lowest in like 25, 30 countries around the world, Western industrialized countries. The other thing about him is he is advocating, like his chart speaks to the politics of the man. That's what happens in political stories. You'll see that the way a person advocates is very much the way the chart is set up. But I also wanted to mention that he's got some very powerful stars in his chart. And one of the things about having very powerful stars in your chart is that you're likely going to win. And if you don't have those powerful stars, you're likely not to win. And I'll talk about the stars right now. You will see that Mars has been moving through his first house. Mars has been in this part of his chart for a while. Mars has been traveling through here September, October. Mars got back here January 6th through to, was it January? November, then all of November, all of December. Yeah. And then around January 6th, Mars entered into this part of his sky in his detriment. Although Mars makes him a fighter, like wanting to fight and wanting to push back. And you'll know that he always says, bring it home, right? Bring it home is a phrase. And he's got a long mantra like Canadians can live on a beautiful street in a beautiful house under a proud flag where you're, and that's Cancer, a beautiful home and a beautiful house and bring it home and, homeland and fighting for home and homeland and nationalism, patriotism. That's what Cancers do. Okay. And then you get Mars going in there and making it more intense. So Mars has been there now, January, February, March, April. Mars is leaving. That's the interesting part of the story. And Mars is moving into the sign of Leo on April the 18th. And then Mars will be connecting with Jupiter before the election. Mars and Jupiter is a winning combination in Leo, and it trines his midheaven. So all that fighting, all that bring it home, all that beautiful street with a proud flag under a powerful military, all the lines he says are exactly what Cancers do. And Mars has made him very fighting spirited, but it's also been difficult, as you know, to be on the road politicians. But he's having massive rallies and huge thousands and thousands of people turnouts, unlike Carney, and very unprecedented in Canada as well. So that's interesting. So I think that we'll see Mars moving into the Leo zone of the sky. And when Mars gets there on April 18th, our election is on April 28th, it's still crossing his Jupiter. That is extremely positive sign for this election. In fact, Mars station retrograde basically on his Jupiter on December the, oh my God, brain won't even think. Mars went retrograde December the 6th, and then bounce back into Cancer on January the 6th. All right. So what are his stars that give him the win? He's got Aldebaran on his sun. Aldebaran is a star of mastery, success, and winning. Don't worry that the sun is in the 12th house. Performers, artists, and politicians often have a 12th house sun. That's common. And so just keep that in mind. Aldebaran, the eye of the bull, is a very powerful star. It's a very formidable royal Persian star. And the other big star he has is Procyan for determination, fighting, grit, success with effort. Procyan is sitting on his ascendant. And finally, he has Fomalhaut, the mouth of the fish, and Deneb, well, very, very powerful stars sitting on his strategic Athena in his 9th house, Dharma. But strategic, she's a goddess of the three-dimensional chess playing. And these are a royal Persian star, the mouth of the fish, Fomalhaut, And he's also got Deneb, and Deneb is a superior star for success if you're a politician and you're fighting to win something. I'm not going to read the stars to you. You can go read about Deneb yourself. It can definitely be a sign of the win. Athena is a powerful asteroid. She gives strategy in all things, and he has a lot of strategy in his campaign and the way he's handling it. I won't go into all the strategy he's using. One of them is not having the super propaganda left-wing media like CBC on the bus, so to speak, on the jet plane from location to location. They have stringers in every place because everything they write about him is literally like, it's like they're writing smear material or they're propagandizing for Carney because they're funded by the Liberal government, and he threatens to defund them. It's like defunding PBS kind of thing. So there's no love lost there. So he just said, don't come you're not invited on the campaign trail. Like in the airplane. But on the other hand, I don't think he has anybody in the airplane. So people on the ground, local media and affiliates, what do you call them, stringers, are there during the stops through various towns. All right, so there's why he's going to win. I could go on, and I don't want to bore you. I do not know for sure that this is his chart. So even if I didn't know, he still has those stars. He still has Mars, Jupiter coming into his sky April 18th through to the 28th. That is a winning energy, Mars, Jupiter, especially perhaps trining the midheaven. Now, Mark, and one more thing about Pierre Poilievre for my Canadians. Pierre Poilievre is the age of 46. 46 is his birthday was in June. It's called your 11th house profection age. And that means if this chart is right, he's where Venus in Taurus sits. Okay. He's going through the age that's ruled by Venus. When Venus is direct coming up soon, you'll see that his life starts to pick up speed after Venus goes direct on April 12th, and we got till the 28th for the election. And this is a positive house of great career gains and success in one's career and popular appeal over the masses. Donald Trump has his son in his 11th house, and Pierre Poilievre has fighting warrior Mars in the sign of fall. Another thing about that, he injured his shoulder and he was a wrestler in high school. And that makes so much sense when you think about Mars here being in such a bad shape. And Toro is that, energy of a bull as well, and shoulders and wrestling. But yes, that's the injury he had when he was in high school and had to step off the wrestling team. Opposite the house of sports. His Mars was in bad shape and he couldn't continue to be a wrestler. I'm just showing you why I know this chart is this chart. All right, so now I'm going to show you Carney. And if you're not a Canadian, I bet you some of you are bored stiff. You're like, oh, turn this boring stuff off. Don't forget, your timestamps are coming. Go forward boldly with Venus and Mercury direct. But Mark Carney is a hot mess. Before I show you his chart, let me say a few things. He's got a lot of Kamala Harris in his story, in the sense that he was in his 59th year, which is called your 12th house age. And just before the election, on his birthday in March, he stepped into his first house age. I don't know why that was so bad for Harris. I was thinking that she changes birthdays in October. She'll go into her 12th, out of her difficult 12th house place and move into the first house place, and that should equal a win, but it didn't. So if that's a pattern that you are launching into an election after languishing in the 12th house for a year, and just before the election you bounce into the first house, that could be one of the things to consider here. That could be a pattern. He has Vega on his midheaven, and Vega is a star to do with performers and beauty and love. He's got some weird asteroids, by the way. He's got some very orgy-like asteroids. And I'm not going to RAPY. Now, I'm not slandering this guy. I'm just saying those asteroids are very significantly placed in his chart. And a lot of Canadians don't know this because the mainstream media doesn't report it. But he and his wife knew Ghislaine Maxwell, connected to Epstein Island. And basically, there's pictures of her and him in his backyard in England. Now, I knew it was just a big social event, and that's only a few years ago. And perhaps that's not someone, but he was talking to her. So there's a lot of that speculation. It's going to be a scandal. It's going to come off of that side of it, I think. So that sleazier side of reality. He's got Algol on his ascendant. That's the same star that Trump has on his midheaven that almost, beheaded him. It's a Medusa for losing one's head, being decapitated. And that's why I'm also thinking with Uranus up there, right now, getting closer and closer to his ascendant and the algo part of the story. This is, again, what shocking, unexpected thing could happen that could decapitate him from his rise to power. So difficult algo, sort of Vega, the star of like performers and artists and spiritual types, on his midheaven, he's got a birth time. Does not bode well for him to be a politician here. He doesn't have the chart of a politician, nor do he have the really powerful stars you need to have a win. And anything else I want to say about him? Both Jupiter, okay. Both Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre have a Varuna. This is a god of righteous justice, a higher order. It's a Hindu god, a sea god, I believe, a higher order, a higher justice, seeking for a higher order of justice in reality and in the world. So for the Jupiter belonging to Mark Carney, it's prenatal, so it's connected to a past life. It's not really here right now, but he's coming off of that. And for Pierre Poilievre, he's got that Varuna sitting on his sun, and so that's his soul's purpose. It's, why he's here, but it's also kind of in the backseat, like the 12th house. And for Carney, prenatal, like back towards the 12th house, but they both have this kind of seeking higher justice and higher order going on in the sky. Here's a quick look at Mark Carney. We do have a time now, so what can I say? It is what it is, guys. If Venus going into her turnaround and Mercury doesn't dramatically change the direction. New polling by Abacus in Canada showed that the Conservatives are now neck and neck, within 1 or 2 degrees above the Liberals. Now, only a week ago, it was way the opposite direction. Sort of like the air has been taken out of the Liberal tires because they don't have anything to fight for it. So you don't need an economist to fight the non-tariffs from Trump. So they've lost their platform, their momentum. Now they got a flat tire on all 4 tires, if you ask me. And Pierre Poilievre's running on affordability of housing. Pierre Poilievre's running on, merit-based, but also lower immigration. We had a flood of immigration from the last administration, and housing went up. People don't have a place to live. We don't have the healthcare infrastructure to support the massive flood of immigration, and these kinds of things. And that's why people think he's like Trump, but it's just what Canada is dealing with. And fiscal conservatism, reducing taxes, that kind of stuff. That's just a normal conservative platform in Canada. So let's go ahead and say a few quick things. Oops, I'm back to Pierre. Sorry, guys. I thought I had Mark Carney up for you. Mark Carney. There we go. Mark Carney has got Jupiter on Varuna prenatal, so it's nothing about this life. It's something before his existence. Don't worry about it. It's not worth going into. His midheaven is up here in Capricorn. The 9th house midheaven is like Kamala Harris's Saturn in the 9th house. It is a sign of a non-president, non-prime minister. Reason is because the 9th house is more like hand of the king, and he was the financial advisor to Trudeau for 5 years. Yeah, you heard me right. He's a financial advisor to Trudeau, and our economy is in deep trouble. And he's running like the guy who could fix it when he's the guy that was part of creating it. But any major planets in the chart of a politician in the 9th house, especially the midheaven or the sun or Saturn for Kamala Harris, indicate a predisposition to be successful as the person behind the power, the advisor to the king, the hand of the king. It's more of that vibration. And now he has been in high powered positions, but in behind the scenes, like, advising Trudeau or the Bank of Canada or the governor of the Bank of England and all of that stuff. So that's not front and center in front of the crowd, right? Now over here, this is a hot mess for him. This is not auspicious, to say the least. These are where Venus is retrograding right now, and that's his chironic wound, right? Venus is here, stationing retrograde at 24 degrees, just shy of his sun at 25 degrees. She comes close and then she goes back away from his sun. That's called refrenation. I refrain from kissing you. If Venus had kissed his sun, like wonderful, happy days are here again, right? Oh, did I get that right? Where is she retrograding now? No, let me put her back in. Did she kiss his sun? Didn't she kiss his son? No, she went behind his son. I apologize. She went behind his son. She went behind his son and is going direct over his son. I'm going to show you the day of the election, why I think he's going to lose. I'll just tell you. On the day of the election, April 28th, Venus has crossed over his sun and is at the 29th degree of Pisces. Within 2 days, less than 2 days, a day and a half, she falls from the anaretic perilous cliff, the drowning degree, the anaretic Abundantia drowning degree of Pisces, and she falls into her fall in the sign, her detriment, her disability, her exile in the sign of Aries. It's like, I don't know how long it's going to take polls to be counted. If there's going to be a recount, but very quickly after the election, he has a loss of power. Venus falls over the cliff in her drowning Gandanta and lands her ass in a bad place for him. It wouldn't matter. It happens for Pierre Poilievre as well. But what matters for him is that it's with his son. So she crosses over his son 3 times, and she will be on her last cross over his son as she goes direct around the 13th, 14th of April. And then she begins to fall into hardship as we get towards the election day, as she gets closer to that cliff-like 29th degree and then topples over. So for him in the house of great career gains itself, the one that Poilievre's living into, he's going to have some kind of, difficult circumstance. Add the chironic wound and malefic Saturn here, and it gets even more challenging. So I don't know why he has Orcus, the Punisher, a broken oath, but that's a family system. And it also is the Etruscan god of wealth. So coming from wealth, but he doesn't, he's from Edmonton, but ancestral wealth that could have been lost or oaths punished and broken in his ancestral line. This just happens to be here, of course, because I had it up for Pierre Poilievre. He has other asteroids like Pan. I'm not going to name all of them, because some of them are quite slimy, but we don't need to worry about who he is. I don't think he's going to win. What else can I say? Jupiter is traveling through the sign of Gemini. That's good for Pierre Poilievre because he has his sun in Gemini, and Jupiter is now direct. However, for Mark Carney, the Gemini part of the sky isn't about political power necessarily, especially with the midheaven in aversion. It's about money. It's about finances. It's about voice, his speech, his phase, his finances. And Jupiter is direct, moving forward till June the 9th here, but that's not of any consequence to his success. It's ruled by Mercury in a difficult house, okay, of self-undoing. All said and done, I could go on and on about why this chart is not a strong chart. So on election day, the stronger chart is definitely Pierre Poilievre. I would expect on the 7th of April and the 12th of April, Mercury direct and Venus direct, coming off the retrogradation when the announcement was made by the Liberals to call the April 28th election. I said if they had an astrologer, they would not have done that, because if you call, it's like if you buy a stock when a planet's retrograde and you think, well, I'm going to buy the stock, it's racing upward, I'm going to win. No, when those planets go retrograde, well, it depends on if you're buying a stock. Well, Venus and Mercury are retrograde in your 8th house, right? Or 5th house. These can be stock investments, or 12th house. Well, you know that stock that was racing to the top is going to turn around and it's going to go downhill. And because everything that you do connected to the retrograde can reverse course. You break up with somebody in a retrograde, especially Venus, you might get back together with them, that kind of thing. All right. So that's the story. We'll see if I'm right. I think that there is a strong chance I am right. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm calling it for Pierre Poilievre, as I did in my 2025 predictions as well. That's pinned to the top of my channel. And I can still see why that was a good call back then, without knowing when the election would be. If it didn't get called in April, it would have been in October. All right. So we're going to go for your sign. Please remember, this is so smudgy. I don't know if it's my lens, but I think it's the dark light here. Please remember, this is general bell curve astrology. I'm not reading your natal chart. I'm giving you a general bell curve or central tendency, bell curve, central tendency. I was at a Pictionary game and the guy was trying to draw a bell curve and I knew exactly what it was. I go, bell curve. And everyone else said, what's a bell curve? That was a week ago. It means that there's I don't want to explain it. Just trust me. There's a likelihood that people in the middle of a bell curve all experience the same thing with astrology. All you Aries, all you Caps feel the same thing when I tell you. There are outliers. Plus, it's not individual to your chart. And I don't know how debilitated your Venus or your Mercury are. So I can't tell you anything about your own life. But in general, I'm going to talk about Mercury going direct, Venus going direct, you going direct into some direction that's important for you. Okay, so let's start off with Aries and we'll get this show on the road. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Find me on Substack if you like. The Pluto Chronicles is my favorite place to write about Pluto in Aquarius and all his shenanigans. I'm also over on Patreon, where you can come take 5 up to 3 classes a month with me, depends on your tier. Zoom meetings, small group, very fun. We're teaching, we're learning, we're asking Q&As. And if you want to join me over on my Cosmic New and Shine newsletter, I had a contest today, April 4th, and I gave away 1 free 2 free mini readings. I meant to give away one, and a bunch of other prizes, 2 free Sky Reader passes and stuff like that. If you're not in my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter, a weekly forecast newsletter, you don't know when those contests come up and you don't know the secret code to win. So you might want to come aboard. Thank you. Let's get going and let's talk first about Aries. Okay, let's go ahead and let's share. I don't think I'm sharing, but I'm gonna keep on trying. I don't see anything that I'm sharing. Let's stop the share. Let's try again. Holy man. Stop the share. Probably you're seeing it, right? But I'm not seeing anything. Mercury is still retrograde on Friday, April the 4th. Woo hoo hoo. Let's get it going again. Let's share the screen. Now I think I'm sharing. There we go. Perfect. Let's start with Aries, not with Virgo. And I'm going to move us forward a little bit. Mercury will station direct on Monday Monday, April 7th in my time zone, Vancouver, Canada. And that will be at 26 degrees, as you can see, of the sign of Pisces. And Venus will be stationing direct at 24 degrees of Pisces on the 12th, which is a Saturday in my time zone. If these planets are stationing to go direct on your sun, moon, or rising at those degrees, it's a very important and powerful energy for you, where you feel your whole life kind of jumping forward in a very good way. You're going to say, wow, like things are really rolling. Sun is your career and purpose, moon is your home and sometimes your emotions, and your rising sign is your character in the matrix and can delineate almost any kinds of changes in your circumstantial life. Aries, sun, moon, and rising. Let's talk about you. Number one, it looks to me like you are going back in time, like a time traveler to 2017 spring and 2001 and 2009, because, Venus is star pointing in your sign after retrogradation, as she has done yet again here in our time zone, in our time and place. And so this station direct is important. This is where she's moving forward. And was it the 22nd she went into the heart of the sun? I'm on vacation. I'm not even going to think about it, but she's moved forward. She's been in the heart of the sun. Now she's moving into direct motion. And this Saturday, Mercury moving into direct motion after 3 weeks retrograde, coming up now this Monday. The area of your sky that is asking for forward momentum is the 12th house. This is your addictions and your self-undoing. Yeah, how we can be our own literally saboteur archetype, where we do things that are not good for our health, not good for our life. We kind of get caught in karmic traps, a quicksand of our childhood, ancestral patterns, childhood and ancestral stories that hold us back, childhood traumas, even just the whole muck up of ancestral stories and our past life karmas, and then our own in this lifetime, worst case scenario, you trip yourself up. And so you're going to kind of hopefully have been, since March 1st, when Venus is retrograded here, been clearing out some of the junk in the tickle trunk of your hot mess and throwing it away. And like Marie Kondo of the soul, what do you need to get rid of? What people, places, things, habits, behavior patterns, situations are no longer true and good for you, and maybe letting it go. Addictions as well, substance abuse. I've been very, very, very conscious of pulling away as an Aries sun and moon from my wine habit. And it's been useful to be conscious of that and not do it all the time. And when I look at this, I think as well as money. And why I think money is because we get money out of the 12th house. We get money from foreign places and marketplaces, distant lands and shores, ways that are not local. In modern world with digital income and borderless revenue and stuff, that's a very powerful area of the sky. It used to be like go barter and trade, right? Like do the spice trade or something, get on a ship, trade your goods. No. This is very easy today. And so your 12th house is also going to finally go forward after some revision. Don't forget, all retrogrades are revise, revision, rethink. So with Venus, the goddess of money, and Mercury, the mercantile guy, markets, merchandising, mercantile markets, these things are going to actually move forward. And so commercially you move forward. I mean, Mercury is in bad shape in Pisces. He's kind of confused and fogged out. And so I wouldn't count on a bull run in the markets, by the way. If you're thinking, I mean, that kind of markets, I wouldn't say so. But what I mean in your own life, Mercury goes direct. Look for information through dreams and news coming through people from far off lands and shores, information from far off lands and shores this week, starting Monday, rolling through to Saturday as Venus goes direct as well. One thing I'd say is that love and romance in a distant shore can happen, or from somebody in a distant shore, because Venus is love and Mercury is news and information, but Mercury is also connected to travel. So are you possibly looking at some kind of consolidation around decisions to be made around lasting and enduring love that's also maybe somewhat karmatic? Saturn, North Node. And as you go forward after April the 12th and Venus moves on, you begin through till actually until May, you begin to get some significant clarity, because she will be in till the end of this month, around near the end of April, she'll still be in Pisces. So the second half of April gives you clarity around money and love matters and addiction recovery and substance use recovery, or decisions and actions as well. Lastly, if you're spiritually inclined, let's say you're a meditator, or you have a guru, this could be very beautiful energy for spiritual awakening or spiritual revelation or spiritual breakthrough, because of the sextile to Uranus in the second house, and also a financial surprise or a breakthrough in your money as well. Hey, Taurus. Well, first of all, you're Venus ruled, and and Mark Carney is Venus ruled. It's a hot mess for that guy. And as Venus is going forward, you're going to find yourself, and Mercury Monday, Venus on Saturday, that revise, revision, and rethink your finances connected to your career, the gains of your career, the goals, of dreams, and wishes you have for your life. You've been pondering something, you've been revising, you've been rethinking that part of your life. You may even been rethinking some of your friendships. Maybe you realize some of the friends are not for you, and you've been wondering which are your true friends and which aren't, and which are the, the golden ones, the thread of the golden friends. And you might be pondering whether or not any of these friends you're keeping, who you're keeping. Because I find that Mercury retrograde, besides bringing friends from the past back to you and social groups of belonging from the past back to you, it is really going inward to reflect on which of those friends that you really want to associate with. And you never know, Neptune was there in the beginning of the retrograde. Maybe some of your friends have a displayable mental illness or addiction issues, and that's just not your crowd, Now, for sure, Venus is hovering with Abundantia in a very pronounced house of good fortune. It's called the house of good spirit, but it's about, pennies from heaven. You may receive a nice financial bounty coming off of this. As things go forward, maybe you're going to get a better job, a raise, a promotion, some more money coming through, a favor from a friend in a high place that's very abundant for you, some kind of financial bonus points coming off that, abundance bonus points coming off that 11th house. And with the sextile to Uranus, there's some surprises, but they're positive, because Uranus is on a well star and Algol, but on a well star, it's Algol, and flowing to Venus as she's going to turn direct on the 24th degree. And so this is going to open up a nice and beautiful energy. And it also happens to trine Mars in the third house, allowing for you to finally move forward on decisions regarding neighbors, neighborhood, travel, or job and work situations, especially if you work in a brick and mortar business like you have to go to in your neighborhood. Now, if you want to end, quit, sever, cut, or you're thinking of doing that, especially on April 27th with the Mars Pluto opposition, you may do that. In essence, though, you're moving forward regarding financial matters, money, work, and financial surprises and positive developments. And again, also in this chart, you could possibly sell something, like sell your business as well. That's only because of Jupiter, where he's sitting, offers a chunk of money coming off the sky as well. And if you want to quit your job, you get a better job, and not that long after, probably in this sky. But if you don't want to quit your job, you'd be waiting for Mars to sextile Jupiter around mid-May to June 9th. And then if you quit a job now, you're likely to get something sooner than later. But don't take my advice, right? I'm not your career counselor, or I'm not your person. I'm just giving general bell curve astrology. Anything else I want to say? No, I do not want to say anything else. But I am going to pause my recording for a minute, because stop the share. I'll be right back. I just need a little more water. My microphone Mike Plus. This is a week recorded in. Okay, I'll be right back. I need water, and then we're finished. Oh, I am recording. I'm back. I hope I had paused that. I'm wandering around, getting water and doing stuff. Okay. Woohoo! Make it big. Here we go. Now we're moving into Gemini. I have a progressed Gemini sun. I know you guys all know that now, but I always should teach a class on this stuff. Your progressed placements are not as powerful as your natal. Oh, uh-oh. All right, I got the mic back in. I'm on MacBook Air. It's cutting out. I don't want the MacBook microphone. Give me a minute. It's terrible. Just fixing the microphone, guys, and give me 30 seconds to fix it. Audio. I do not want that. Why is that doing that? Oh, it's my thingy. The plug doesn't hold. Okay. I'm on mic plus and the volume's gone down on me, maybe. OMG. It's going to keep flipping like this. I'm going to flip. Give me a minute. I have an idea. I'm going to prop this up. It's like, prop it up. 1, 2. Nope. Hang on. I'm going to try again. I need to try, like place. Give me a minute. I'm not giving up. Okay. Mic plus is in. Plus, mic plus. Am I in? Nope. Stop it. I hope this whole all the time you guys have been listening hasn't been going in and out of this damn thing. Okay. Mike. Oh, I am not happy. I really am not. Option. Hang on. Let me try the other port on my mat. Time to upgrade my stuff. All right. That's the port. Oh, there. Testing 1. Right. My default's changing again. And mic plus. Okay, I see what's going on. All right. I think it's going to hold. God, you've got to be kidding. It's going back and forth. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. I'm going to see if I can fix it. Sorry. I'm afraid this is Mercury retrograde on April 4th. I'm afraid that it's going to keep doing this for the rest of the video. I'm trying not to even move the microphone. All right. So here we have the next sign, Gemini. So, hey, Gemini, it's all about the career space in your 10th house. Obviously, have you been revising? Have you been rewinding? Have you been rethinking what you want to do in that career? And with a horn of plenty up there, good old cornucopia of Abundantia, you're trying to find that horn of plenty with pleasure, joy, fun, and play, enduring results, inspired, destined communication, and maybe money as well. And so all said and done, you can find that this is a time that where you've been pondering and thinking things over since, back in the beginning of March with Venus retrograde. And now Mercury for the last 3 weeks coming to a close on the 7th. So Mercury direct on Monday and Venus direct on Saturday this week. Finally, you get this kind of mojo momentum about matters to do with your career, your reputation, your public standing. Now, that can be like a situation like I'm divorced, I'm married, I'm widowed, I'm separated. Your public social standing can change after a lot of thinking and revising, So sometimes people make announcements with this kind of sky, announcing you're separating or divorcing or getting married, or have been engaged now. These kinds of things can happen going forward off the sky. You need to get that Venus direct, though, and she's going direct in your 10th house in a way she hasn't done since 2017 spring. And so it's very familiar in some ways to what you went through then, but the North Node of Fate was not with her. So it's much more powerful. In 2017, my progressed Gemini sun began a new career path of doing online sales and becoming an online entrepreneur. So what were you doing in 2017 that you might say, okay, I started something, a new shift of direction began in that year. But with the North Node, it amplifies the intensity and the destiny factor. Certainly, I would say this forward movement on Monday and also on Saturday with Abundantia brings some financial abundance off of new decisions, actions, and directions in your career. Even though Mercury is direct on Monday, I encourage you to wait a bit and wait it out till you get Venus in full gear on Saturday. So both of them have the right information and the right clarity that you need before new decisions and actions are taken. Mars makes decisions. He takes actions. He's in your second house. Second house has to do here with your money, your earnings, your resources. And for you to know which direction to go, get that Venus direct on April the 12th. And then when Mars leaves your second house, and he's going to, you're going to find I've got my bearings. And that's going to be around April the 18th. With Uranus, there could be unexpected financial surprises connected to hospitals, connected to far off foreign shores and people in distant places, or revenue garnered from those places as well. So exciting times are here. All said and done, this is a really beautiful and rare stellium in your 10th house. And now everything goes forward for a once in a lifetime new direction and clarity when it comes to your career. For some of you, you might quit or retire. Saturn can do that up there like a grim reaper, but then you get a lot of abundance from making that change. Others are going to level up and go the distance to become an authority, a master, or an expert in something to a level of success yet seen in your life. So whichever way it goes, it looks all good on you. And Jupiter is protecting you physically, and Jupiter is protecting you as well in general, because he is with you in your Gemini sun, moon, and rising. When we did the political astrology up front, I talked about Pierre Poilievre having our conservative contender for the prime ministership, having Gemini sun and Jupiter's protection and blessings. Keep that in mind. Donald Trump had Jupiter on his sun and he won the election. Kamala Harris had Jupiter near her ascendant and she did not win the election. So sun means leader or ruler, and Jupiter means king. So it's very auspicious to be running for an election with Jupiter on your sun. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. First of all, a once in a lifetime stellium is happening here in your 9th house. And the North Node says destined. And Venus and Mars say, well, we've been revising. Mercury will have been revising for 3 weeks by the time he goes direct on Monday, and Venus for more than that since March the 1st. And you are now ready to make decisions and go forward after a long, long pause. For some of you, it's as simple as finding a life purpose and meaning in life. Maybe some of you want to go to university or college or study something or have a guide or mentor to learn something new that you could use for your purpose and career. Otherwise, you've been yearning for some spiritual clarity, new beliefs, new religious or spiritual philosophies, and you didn't know which way to go. Should I join the church or the synagogue or the mosque? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe, all that stuff. What is it I'm supposed to do with my life's purpose as well? Maybe you don't know. Maybe you've been trying to figure it out. Chiron in the 10th house is like, got to find a purpose, got to find a career that's purposeful, got to get your meaning on, got to get a meaningful life going here. If you're in the book publishing industry, publications publishing and book publishing, an abundance are there in the 9th house. Cancers who are writers, publishers, or book publishing folks are doing very well in the sky. You'll notice as well that we see that this whole beautiful direct motion Venus on Saturday the 12th and Monday for Mercury on the 7th. They're flowing, almost sound like Mark Carney. They're flowing to the first house, which is you. You're like the person with a hatchet in your hand, getting ready to chop a tree, but you're not sure which tree you're going to chop yet. So you're waiting on the will of heaven for Venus to go direct and Mercury go direct. So I told you, Pierre Poilievre is probably a 99% chance a Cancer rising. So is Elon Musk. They're just like you. They've got that fire in their belly. They've got the fierce defense for home and homeland. They think they know what they're going to do. February 23rd, Mars went direct. Yet, this is important. Venus turning around in a trine of water from the 9th house and Mercury, supporting Mars to take the actions and make the decisions necessary. Mars is the ruler of your house of children, by the way. And my Cancer rising sister just told me her son was going to be moving for looking for a new life, changing his life, leaving the nest, leaving the hometown. And I think that's a beautiful example of what can happen here as Mars is trining the house of children. And Venus and Mercury are saying we're all moving forward in a new direction, and far off distant shores, even foreign shores. I kind of want to also remind you that there's some surprises here. I mean, you may think the lay of the land, but the surprises should be positive because Although Uranus brings unexpected developments, and it is a well star and off with their heads. In this case, this is a Uranus flowing back to Venus and flowing back to Mercury. And there's a mutual like niceness going on. And Venus is telling Uranus what to do, right? He's in her house. So unexpected positive financial surprising news coming through, an elder sibling, a benefactor, an ally, or a career situation, for example. Or unexpectedly winning a court case and getting a lot of money, much more than you expected, or unexpectedly getting a book agent or publisher, a publishing deal with great wealth involved, an advance or something. You got a traditional publisher of your dreams coming through here. These kinds of stories. Ninth house is also doing well in court cases. I think I said that. So that's what I got for you. And all said and done, you're the one taking actions and making decisions from your Martian stance right now, as Mars is dog paddling through the sign of you, does leave around April 18th. And we'll be doing a video of his movement through your 2 months through your second house. Stay tuned for that. Ka-ching, ka-ching, money time for you. Leo, sun, moon, and rising. Well, a stellium of action. Rare, first in a lifetime in your 8th house. Chunky money, taxes, inheritances, money shared with a spouse, investments, insurance payouts. Anyway, those sorts of monies are over there. If you're not getting involved in tarot reading, tarot cards, occult mysteries, magic, supernatural and paranormal things, which could easily be going forward with all that stuff in the 8th house, then you're definitely moving into a time of some financial changes here. But they're all good. Abundantia with Venus is there. Venus is moving forward on the 12th, which is a Saturday, and Mercury on the 7th on a Monday. 1, 2, here we go forward. Have you been rethinking your tax situation? Have you been rethinking your money situation when it comes to employment income connected to Jupiter in the 11th? And this includes elder siblings, friends, allies, and benefactors. Maybe you've been making some ponderings, thinking about what you really want here in these monies. Your partner and you in marriage may have a sudden and exciting or unexpected development, financially positive, but coming through their career or your career and the money that is created from it. Saturn rules the 7th house of your marriage partner. And so they may have a financial breakthrough, a career breakthrough as well. It may not be your story, but if you don't have a partner that you share resources with in love or long-term love, then this is your money. I can't see the downside here other than Mercury can't see the details. Don't sign any legal contracts and without a detailed inventory and a fine eye looking at the legal fine print. Mars is trining the 4th house and owns it. Some of you may be buying a home, selling a home, or renting a home, or changing your home. These are all possible as well, for Saturn rules the house of rental properties in your chart as well. That is your 6th house. So if you wanted to move, change your home, rent a home, these things can happen to you with great success. Wait till after Monday, and then wait till after Saturday when we get both Mercury and Venus in direct motion. If you're looking for a job, and Uranus is in the 10th, this could be a sign-on bonus or a commission in the job you already have, a very radical and shocking way of getting some money off of a father figure or a career figure. A father figure could work here as well, giving authority figure, father figure, just gifting you some money off of this. And this could be true starting on the 7th of April, but even more so on Saturday, the 12th, add 2 weeks. Hey, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. I like this for you guys because it's in the house of the other. This is your significant other, your marriage partner, others, your long-term committed love partners. Now, if you don't have one and you're looking for a love story, this could bring it on. Did you have any old boyfriends or girlfriends or marriage partners from your past crawling out of the woodwork during the retrograde? Some of you probably did. You heard back from the people that you haven't heard from in ages. And maybe that was just to close out that relationship. Certainly Venus retrograde since March the 1st, and even Mercury retrograde for the last 3 weeks could have brought messages and calls and texts about those people back into the present. Now, if that didn't happen, and for some of you it may not have, you might have been nostalgic about your past relationships, rethinking your past relationships, etc. Your significant other also has been going through something, if you have one, because it's retrograde in the house of them, and they've been going back over old ground, rethinking their self and their relationship values, etc. That said, abundance is over there, and a prosperous, abundant, lasting, destined energy is playing out with Mercury. A wedding proposal, buying a property with the person with, selling a property. I lost my mic again. Selling a property with the person you're with. Okay, I'm not giving up. I think this mic has got a faulty cord, like it's damaged, or plug isn't working. Let me try something. Nope. I can tell when it stops working though. Okay. Damn it, Janet. Is it this that moved? I'm not going to give up. Talk about Mercury retrograde. Oh, what are you trying to tell me, Mercury? That I should just stayed in bed today? Hang on. Oh, it's back. It's back. I'm not even going to move the mic. It's back. It's back. It's back. All right. Don't even move, Lori. So all I'll say for you guys is that something's afoot in the house of others, business partners, marriage partners, audience, and marketplace. Now, prosperity is there, abundance is there. It's talking to Jupiter in the 10th house of career. It's got some shock and awe off of Uranus in the 9th, and Mars is acting on it from the 11th. But I'm going to narrow it down to a simple story. Some of you are going to make some major changes in your career and your way you do your career that leads to financial prosperity, or your partner is doing that. Okay, not you. And in this kind of chart, Venus rules your house, second house of money and finances, and she's moving direct. And she's moving forward on the 12th, which is Saturday, after Mercury moves forward on Monday. Any contracts, negotiations, or deals, especially connected to land, property, and real estate, that came through your transom in the last 3 weeks with Mercury retrograde, could come back for a second pass. I'll give you an example. Virgo rising, friend of mine wants to buy a house, but the price is too high with their partner. They're not going to go for the offer. It feels inconvenient and rush. If it's still in the market and there's another chance to get it, maybe that'll be the property comes back for a second pass. Like the agent calls her and says, hey, this is still in the market. You were interested. We've lowered the price or something like that. So that's in the chart. Another thing that's in the chart is that there's some surprises in the 9th house, and that's a very positive, lucky house, a Lakshmi house. It's connected to wealth and positive directions there. Uranus is on a wealth star. So wealthy surprises connected to distant lands and shores, or legal and court matters of any kind. You have been looking at that Mars transit for a long time, 4 months, going through your 11th house. Some of you are getting ready to quit your job or quit your earnings path. You're no longer interested, maybe. And now this is going to open up some kind of power around decisions and actions you wish to take regarding the way money comes to you and the way you make money. And yes, I see the basket in the sky there, but we're not talking about that. Not again. Oh, I am going to shoot myself. Well, not really. I shouldn't say that, because some people do that. Hang on. Not giving up. I wonder when I did the first slicing back and forth. Okay, I'm going to put the mic on the sofa so I'm not touching it, and I hope it's loud enough for you guys. Now I'm talking down into the sofa. I'll talk a little louder if I have to. Eek. All right, so that's what I've got for you guys. That's what I got for the Virgos. Let me see if I can prop the mic on something up, like my hand. Okay, don't move your hand, Lori. Well, this baby's toast. It's a good mic. I think I need a new cord. All right, moving on. That's what I got for you. Could get a wedding proposal, marriage proposal, common house purchase, chunks of money coming in. Who knows how, who knows where. With Venus and Mercury going into the 8th house, inheritance money from father figures. And that's a possibility. I'm not saying it will happen, but as both go direct, some of you may get money in that regard. All right, sun, Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. First thing I want to say, rare stellium in the 6th house of work, pets, rental opportunities, situations to do with your health. This is a positive stellium. It's chock-a-block for financial gain, cornucopia of abundance in the work you do in the world. Some of you may get a raise or promotion, but you've been thinking of quitting your job, or the job is going to quit you. Mars in the 10th house. Which way will it go? Have you in the last 4 months been thinking of leaving? Are you working too hard? Are you dog paddling too hard? Are you tired? When Venus goes direct and Mercury goes direct, it tells us that you know the next move and you'll either leave or stay. But if you stay, you have new terms that bring you more money, abundance, and maybe enjoyment of your work as well. And some of you in this kind of sky with Saturn could rent a new property, rent your own property out to a tenant, or get a new pet coming off the direct motion. And, Venus retrograde since March the 1st, maybe you've been thinking of a pet or a rental opportunity or change in the job, especially. And now you're ready after April, which is Saturday the 12th, to move forward with clarity and assertion. Mercury goes direct on Monday. Don't sign any details of any contractual agreements for anything until you get him in direct motion. Please wait. It's bad enough that he's debilitated in Pisces. You want to get him out of retrograde, or you'll have to redo the whole damn contract. The other thing you might want to notice here is that you've got this energy of Jupiter in the ninth house of God, and that's very positive. Jupiter is leaning into wisdom, truth, and knowledge for you as things go direct, and it could be very good for wisdom, truth, and knowledge regarding financial or career opportunities connected to book publishing, foreign lands, travel, pilgrimages, and courts and legal cases. There's a shocking awe, shock-inspiring awe of Algol Uranus. The stars Algol Uranus, 25 degrees with Taurus this week, 25. It could be a surprise in the work environment with a payout, you know. We want you to leave the job, but we're going to give you like a year's salary all at once, or a positive surprise regarding a health matter and you're relieved, or a positive surprise regarding something to do with investments in the markets or chunky money and an ability to suddenly be able to pay down a lot of debt. And you could sell a property under this in a surprisingly lucrative way as well, by listing a property, receiving an offer, or buying a property. Either any of these things for all Libras look really good for you this Monday, and then this Saturday even better once we get Venus direct. Remember, Venus is going back to redo things like she did in 2017, but now with the North Node of Fate, everything here is very destined and fated in a way it was not before. Hey, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Number one, it looks like a stellium is happening in the fifth house of true love, romantic love, fun, joy, play, and pleasure, the joy and wonder of life, and that spirit of innocence of a child. And you have got a stellium. Now, I love that Saturn's been here making you enduring and patient, trying to find your pleasure in steadfast ways, probably kind of tampered down on your sex and romance as well. He's been here since 2023, but now Venus wants to play. Girls just want to have fun, and Mercury wants to communicate, and North Node wants to expand your worldly success. Cornucopia of abundance. Sextiling Uranus, viral hit online. Anybody? Music, book publishing deal, art, performing, acting people. Oh my God, this is gorgeous for you. Major changes of direction and positive shifts starting Monday with Mercury, and then on Saturday, the 12th, with Venus. This is extremely fertile. And if you're somebody who is thinking of baby making, you or your partner, this is a strong indication of momentum towards conception. And maybe it's just with Mercury, the revelation that there is a pregnancy in the oven. I like the fact that you have Mars up in the ninth house because he's flowing. Is this an opportunity for romantic travel, leisure travel, breakthroughs with visas, passports, pleasure, travel, fun? We have Jupiter, so beautiful travel opportunity emerging for far off distant travels coming off of this week, end of this week. Jupiter in the eighth house could give you a chunk of money. With Mars in the ninth, father figure, or just because the moon is baking, yes, father figure. And then Jupiter also says you've got some kind of luck when it comes to investments, speculative investments, that maybe you put some money down on a stock or a crypto and it was going nowhere. Please don't invest because of this. I'm not your financial advisor. The markets are going to be very unstable for a while, but you could still have picked up something that's going to do well from the past, and now it's rebounding. You know, you happen to buy a stock in like weapons manufacturers and there's going to be a war with Iran and your stock pops, you know, that kind of thing, dastardly as it is. Righty. Ultimately, there's some surprises your partner has, and that could be, hi, honey, I'm pregnant, or hey, honey, I just got this new job, or hey, honey, your marriage partner, I mean, type partner, but also some, you know, Uranus in the seventh house of the public in the marketplace could, for your career, for a creative artist, could literally look like, wow, you hit the jackpot, right? Something that you put out there really went into intense wealth success, like a viral hit, a big deal, something surprising. And with Mars moving out of your ninth house and into your 10th, mid-April to mid-June, some of you might be getting ready to quit a job, maybe because of some other success that's more lucrative or more interesting. If you don't quit a job, you'll just work your ass off, full of passion and drive. But that's another video, and we'll talk about it when it's time. I'm literally afraid to move. This mic is holding. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. I'm in an awkward position here, but I'm trying to keep the mic from moving. It looks to me like you got a situation of a fourth house stellium. This is about where you want to live. Where's your home? Where's your true home? North node is destined home, worldly success. Mercury is buying and selling or renting, and Saturn is enduring, lasting, and stable. And Venus is beautiful, loving, and lovely. And cornucopia could bring wealth in from the home, or because you buy a home that's very luxurious and beautiful and wealthy. Now, with Mars in your eighth house, he is in the house of mortgages and he is in the house of banks and loans. And so possibly the flow from Mars gives you the action plan and the decision-making power to sell a property or buy a property. But with Uranus in the sixth house and Venus ruling that, you could also literally rent a property. In this case, rent your property to someone or rent a property out. Don't think you want a pet. Surprise, here comes a reincarnation of your old kitty cat, dog, or turtle, and you've got another one. I like that for you guys, unexpected surprises around animals in your home, pets in your home, positive surprises at that. Having this Jupiter in your seventh house is your marriage house. Are you still together? Jupiter has been testing that relationship since last March, May of 2024, went direct in February. If it's going to stick, you're going to know by June 9th. I only bring that up because he likes to bring divorces or meet new people or solidify. But the guys really, you don't get what you want, you get what you need. How's it going? If you're a single Sag, though, this guy, Jupiter in the seventh house, with that Venus in the fourth, you could meet somebody close to home. Or, by the way, with this signature, you could be coming into a situation where you're going to be a grandparent as well. Discover you're going to be a grandparent as well. Don't make any financial decisions around property rentals or purchases. Wait until Jupiter goes direct on the 7th. Ideally, add Venus direct as well on the 12th. Hey, Scorpio. Hey, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. It looks to me like you got a lot of action in that travel house. Are you traveling this month? Now, with Venus going direct on the 12th and Mercury, you're going to go direct regarding travel and love matters, in the sense that communication, talking or traveling, love and romance are all on the table, especially after Venus moves direct on the 12th through to the end of April. And you may be also looking at opportunities connected to business and work, and maybe work that requires travel. Developments, news, and information from a sibling younger than you, by one usually, but just siblings in general coming into the email, phone call, text messaging zone of life could show up April 12th onward. The energy here of cornucopia of abundance isn't too shabby with the north node of worldly success. Saturn says it lasts, it endures. You might be coming into some kind of financial success online. Do you do social media? Are you a writer? Do you have a online business? If you have any of that stuff going on, this is looking like gloriously good for you after April the 12th, a couple of weeks. And I do want to say, with Mars cutting through the 7th house, are you making decisions regarding long-term committed love, or is the marriage partner doing that? Because actions and decisions, separation stories are here. If you've been separated from a significant other, Venus is trining Mars, and it could indicate reunion through travel. If you want to start a writing project, wait till Venus goes direct, along with Mercury. So wait till the end of this week, till the 13th, to start a new writing project. A retrograde writing project or communications project or website launch might be a bit tough here because you'll have to go back and change it. Jupiter in the 6th house is about work, and you may be getting some work opportunities, golden opportunities for work. And Venus is also the Lord of the 10th house. So golden work opportunities emerging for those of you needing or looking for those things. And some surprises in the sex and romance house, children and fertility, or entrepreneurial surprises. And that's Uranus flowing from the romance and sex house to the travel house. But the surprise or the unexpected is the Iranian piece. I don't know what the unexpected surprise is. You'll have to let me know. It's forming a nice mini trine with Mars, but it can be like maybe you're going to meet someone new because you've been single, and surprise, you meet someone you fall in love with. Maybe you're with someone and there's surprising changes of direction regarding the intimacy or the romance. Maybe there's something going on in the 5th house as well, with creative projects taking off, especially if they're online and entrepreneurial, and positive developments here for you as well in that regard. With Mars moving forward and flowing to Venus in the house of neighborhood and ruling your fourth house, some of you are moving. Some of you are going to change your neighborhood and move your place of residence. And, Jupiter says you can rent a property with great luck and success as well in this chart. All right, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Am I talking too fast? An auctioneer for everybody? Then you can slow me down in the playback speed on the free feature on YouTube. Just hit the icon gear at the top of the video and change my speed to slow me down. I am talking fast. It's my birthday. I want to go have a glass of wine and settle in and relax. And yet I love doing these videos for you, but not for like hours at a time. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Me, I'm one of you. I'm rising. It's about our money. It's a money honey story. We want to make more money. We want money sustainable, enduring, and lasting, joyful, fun, and playful, worldly success. We've been having some snafus. Mercury's been retrograding here and he's in debility. I cannot tell you the problems I've been having. Tech snafus and stuff. It's been crazy. Thank God I filed my taxes just before the retrograde. But it is literally where we're going to find the greatest success, because we'll be talking about this next week, the Saturn North Node conjunction, mean and true North, 14th and 21st. It doesn't matter which we use. It's a once in a lifetime, not seen since 1850s. We'll do that next week. But this is a major glow up for your finances, Aquarius. I don't care what you think. It could come from multiple directions, because Mercury here going direct rules the house of inheritance, stock investments, chunks of money coming, at you. And we have a stellium, and Venus goes direct on the 12th. Mercury on Monday, the 7th. You are moving forward in your finances with clarity, certainty, and acuity. You know what you want. You're going to get it. And it's going to create some serious abundance. Because Venus is going direct here, and she is also connected to the fourth house, where you get that Uranus shock and surprise. And Jupiter's in the house of good fortune, including money wins. Some of you could win some money off of this, only if the money's connected to a few things. Maybe ancestral positive karma, maybe a kind of money gain connected to property, land, and real estate. These are some thoughts. But all said and done, you could have an unexpected sort of bit of a windfall vibration going on for you at the end of this story, when Venus goes direct, especially after April the 12th. Hang on, I need water. Sorry, I drank kombucha instead, but anything will do. Mars is in your sixth house. Have you been thinking of quitting your job? Have you been working too hard? Have you been a slave to your work, so to speak? It's a house of slavery. It's your sixth house. Have you been cutting away all the foods that don't serve you? Have you been trying to find a workout plan? These are all kinds of stories that happen when Mars is spending a dog's age in your sixth house for 4 months and back in the fall. So Mars is flowing to the Venus station direct and Mercury station direct. And all that said and done, is major choices, decisions, and actions around work and money and earnings are coming into the sky for you. And you'll know what it is. Like by the time we get to April 12th, and then you spend a couple weeks out of that, you're going to go, oh my God, yes, that's the direction I got to go. I am quitting this job, or I am quitting this part of my job, or I am making these changes in my dietary style. What you put in your nose and mouth is the 12th house, second house, and Mars is cutting through the house of sickness to make you feel healthy by getting rid of foods you shouldn't eat, or drinks, or alcohol, or weed, or hopefully nothing worse than that. Not too shabby for letting go of an addiction with Saturn in the mix, because he rules the house of self-undoing, which is your 12th house. So you can quit an addiction. Now, one thing I like about this guy, of course, is that you do have Jupiter in the house of good fortune. And there's no two ways about it. No matter what this direct motion is about, it will bring you some good fortune. Rest easy in this regard. And Jupiter is talking to that stellium in a whole sign way. He can witness it. And it is his kingdom. It's his Pisces domain. So some kind of financial fortune is heading your way. I'm not saying everyone's going to win the lottery, but lucky breaks can come. And he's the ruler of your 11th house, lucky breaks in career gains, social influence, favors from friends in high places. And Venus says, yes, she gives you beautiful speech. And if you're a podcaster, as she goes direct, and Mercury too, your speech is better than ever, and your mic doesn't fail you, and you remember what you're going to say, says this Aquarius. As Mars is going to move into your 7th house, you might be passionately and aggressively engaging in your audience marketplace endeavors, but you may also cut away and end and sever client relations or significant relationships. That's mid-April to mid-June. You'll have to wait and see what happens. I'll be doing a video on that. Oh my goodness. Not last but not least, best and always best. the mystic poets of the zodiac, this is very much your time. This has not happened in your life to have these pileups in Pisces like this. It's insane. And if you even look at the sidereal or Vedic sky, they're having the same thing. They bring Saturn into that part of the chart. You're literally on, that you're on, you're the one. So this is so insane for you. Number one, go back to March 1st. What were you rethinking about? Your physical appearance, your beauty, your self-love, self-worth, your charm, offensive, your values. Add 3 weeks ago, Mercury going retrograde, adding to the mix. Now you're really pondering, really rethinking. Now you're thinking of new ideas to adopt more beauty in your life. You want to be beautiful, charming, likable, and friendly. You want to find your values more deeply true. And Saturn says that the kind of values you discover, the self-worth that you encounter, about who you are coming off of this with the North Node is destined and lasting change in your identity. Pisces Sun in your identity connected to your career. Pisces Moon and connected to your home and homeland. Pisces rising, anything in your life, but especially the character you play in the simulation where you are that Piscean two fishies in different directions bound by the tail. One thing about Pisces is they tend to be a flip-flopper. You're double-bodied and sometimes you can't make up your mind or you change your mind a lot. And sometimes you even might procrastinate. And in this regard, Saturn is giving you more stability since 23 until 2027 to be less of that and to be more have a backbone, so to speak, and to be realistic and more determined to stick with what you say you're going to do. So keep that in mind. You're a lot less floppy than you normally are. But I would also add that with this pile up here, there's abundance. Abundantia is trailing behind Venus. And there's something about how you could be abundant in some way. It can be prosperity financially. It can be abundance of self-love. It can be abundance and a cornucopia of gorgeous beauty in your life. You have figured out the right haircut, the right wardrobe for who you are. Venus loves luxury, especially in Pisces. So maybe you've now decided to get Chanel, right? Because Saturn is traditional, enduring, antique, and lasting. Venus is luxury items. This would be a kind of thing you could buy your luxury car, your luxury wardrobe, your luxury home after she goes direct. Or luxury items for your home with Jupiter, the god of wealth and abundance in your fourth house. You always wanted a super high-end mattress or a fancy dining room table that you coveted. This is the time where the decisions, Mercury goes direct, to do that are better. Wait till Mercury gets into your second house as well. Goodness gracious. He goes direct on the 7th. He's probably going into Aries within a week after. I'm not going to look now because that's another video. Mercury direct is enough, but when he goes into your second house, then purchasing a luxury item, whether it's clothing for your home, whatever, go for it. Now, in purchasing a luxury item, be charitable. You are Pisces, and so spend like $1,000 on the luxury item and give $10 at least to the beggar sitting by the front of the building. Keep your charitable side alive and well. Especially because Saturn rules your 12th house of charity and disadvantage, and he's there. So kind of like a preemptive way is like the more charitable you are, the better you can acquire the luxury items you're looking for without, of course, giving all your money to charity. With a Uranus in the 3rd house, unexpected shocking surprises with siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, and neighborhood situations that are positive, or maybe something unexpected with social media, your online world, your writing projects, and travel opportunities. Surprise, surprise. And good, it's good. It feels good there. Mars says, do you want to be in a romance? Because he's trining Venus and he's in the house of romantic love. Some of you might come into a new romance if you're single. Otherwise, you might pick up a little friendly bedtime pleasures with the one you're with. That aside, Mars is not in good shape here, so be careful there too. He is dog paddling awfully hard in the sign of his fall, and you don't want to fall off the bed and hurt yourself. You know what I'm saying? He is also talking, of course, Mars to Uranus. And so unexpected, surprising travel opportunities connected to love, romance, creativity, and entrepreneurship that are profitable and personally profitable for you. Mercury does rule your house of spouse, and he is in the house of you. And it's going to be a very important week for communication on the 7th as he goes direct with your spouse, if you have a spouse, okay? Then you're going to have some important conversations if needed, especially with the Punisher or broken oaths over there. Did spouse or hubby or wifey give you a promise and they never followed through on? There's going to be some hell to pay, I would say. But still, this is a very positive sky, and 90% of it is amazing. When again, you're going to get that Mars moving into the sixth house. And if you're not employed, well, you might start to get some employment off of the sky because Venus and Mercury move into the second, Mars will move into the sixth. And that's a little bit later this month, but it looks auspicious for employment if you are looking for employment. All right, that's what I've got for everybody. I hope I gave everybody roughly the right amount of time, but I can't be perfect every time, and I'm probably perfect never. I lost the mic again. I'm done. I'm done with this thing. This is a great little microphone. I don't know if it's this piece or the piece that's attached to my laptop, but I'll figure it out. Thanks, guys, for listening. Don't forget liking, subscribing, hit the bell for notifications. I went into a, what do you call those rooms? A steam room, eucalyptus steam room, and then the hot tub and the massage and all that. And this is what my hair does. Like when I go to Bali or Tulum or someplace, I don't like it down in Tulum, but any place, sorry guys, I like Mexico. I just don't like the humidity down on that part of the Caribbean. This is what happens to my hair. It just becomes like this. It's crazy. I never have to style my hair in humid climates because it just looks naturally great, curly, shit like that. All right. Yes, Venus is going direct and Lori just lingers on her hair. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. I will see you on the next video. It's a big deal. We're going to have to talk. The next video coming up probably Tuesday, could be Thursday. I'm changing my schedule. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday is about the South North Node conjunction to Saturn. Happens every 11, 12 years. But in Pisces, we haven't seen it since the 1800s. This is going to rock your Pisces story. Back to Pisces, back to the same part of the sky where Venus and Mercury are going direct. That kicks off next week, and we're going to get a video out before it happens. Have a great, great week ahead, guys. It's positive.